It's a big win for the Modi government, undoubtedly, in the Supreme Court of India. 4 years since the centre took away Jammu and Kashmir's special status and statehood, bifurcating it into two union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, the Supreme Court pronounced its verdict on Article 370 abrogation. A series of reactions that have been coming in. Let's take a listen.
We have held that Article 370 is a temporary provision on a reading of the historical context in which it was included. Article 370 was introduced to serve two purposes. First, the transitional purpose, to provide for an interim arrangement until the Constituent Assembly of the state was formed and could take a decision on the legislative competence of the Union on matters other than the ones stipulated in the instrument of accession and ratify the Constitution. And second, a temporary purpose, an interim arrangement in view of the special circumstances because of the war conditions in the state. The state of Jammu and Kashmir does not retain any element of sovereignty after the execution of the instrument of accession and the issuance of the proclamation dated 25 November 1949, by which the Constitution of India was adopted. The state of Jammu and Kashmir does not have internal sovereignty, which is distinguishable from the powers and privileges enjoyed by other states in the country. Article 370 was a feature of asymmetric federalism and not sovereignty. This court is alive to the security concerns in the territory. Direct elections to the legislative assemblies, which is one of the paramount features of representative democracy in India, cannot be put on hold until statehood is restored. We direct that steps shall be taken by the Election Commission of India to conduct elections to the Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, constituted under Section 14 of the Reorganization Act by 30 September 2024. Restoration of statehood shall take place at the earliest and as soon as possible. We have held that a textual reading of Article 370 also indicates that it is a temporary provision. For this purpose, we have referred to the placement of the provision in Part 21 of the Constitution, which deals with temporary and transitional provisions, the marginal note to the provision, which states temporary provisions in respect to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and a reading of Articles 370 and 1, by which the state became an integral part of India upon the adoption of the Constitution. The Article 370, Clause 1 by the President indicates that the gradual process of constitutional integration was ongoing. The declaration issued by the President in exercise of the power under Clause 3 of Article 370 is a culmination of the process of integration. Thus, we do not find that the President's exercise of power under Clause 3 of Article 370 was mala fide. The Solicitor General, appearing for the Union of India, submitted that statehood will be restored to Jammu and Kashmir and that its status as a union territory is temporary. The Solicitor General submitted that the status of the union territory of Ladakh will not be affected by the restoration of statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. In view of the submission made by the Solicitor General that statehood would be restored of Jammu and Kashmir, we do not find it necessary to determine whether the reorganization of the state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir is permissible under Article 3. The status of Ladakh as a union territory is upheld.
जो सरकार ने गैर कानूनी फैसला लिया था क्योंकि ये पावर्स असेंबली की इलेक्टेड गवर्नर के पास थी, नॉमिनेटेड गवर्नर के पास नहीं थी स्टेट को भंग करना और रिकमेंड करना। तो उस तरीके से ये अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है और बहुत भी कई चीजें हैं जिसकी वजह से अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल। तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कौन फैसला करेगा ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट की ही बेंच कर सकता है, तो उसका इंतजार है हमें।
You heard from Ghulam Nabi Azad, essentially the former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, also previously associated with the Congress party, saying that this is injustice and that is not something that he welcomes. He's unhappy with the verdict of the court today. I'm now going to go across to my colleague Nalini, our legal editor, who continues in fact to be with us. Nalini, the point that we were in fact talking about, the court on the role of the army in this particular region has made some observations. I'll just let you in fact take us through what has been said by Justice Kaul today.
Well, Sneha, yes, like we said that there are 3 separate judgments, but they all are concurring, which means that the reasoning might be separate, but the conclusion is the same. And in Justice S.K. Kaul's opinion, remember Justice Kaul himself is a Kashmiri, so he penned a very sentimental epilogue at the end of his opinion. And what he said about the role of the army, he said that the Valley of Kashmir carries a historical burden, and we, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, are at the heart of the debate. He also goes on to say that armies are meant to fight battles against enemies, not to control law and order in the state, and the entry of the army in the state of Jammu and Kashmir has created its own ground realities where men, women and children who were part of Jammu and Kashmir have paid a heavy, heavy price due to the role of the army. So some very strong sentiments of Justice Kaul being reflected in this judgment that has been authored by him. That's probably also the reason why he wanted to author a separate opinion to be able to put across his feelings.
It's coming back to you, Nalini, in a moment from now. In fact, we have a reaction coming in from a southern Owaisi. Let's take a listen.
उसका एरिया ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंस है, उसको कंप्लीट फ्रीडम ऑपरेट करने का। अब पार्लियामेंट कैसा बोलेगा असेंबली के लिए, और पार्लियामेंट और कैसे पार्लियामेंट एक रेजोल्यूशन पास करेगा जो असेंबली को पास करना था। तो मेरे नज़र में 370 को जो एब्रोगेट किया गया है, ये वायलेशन है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी का, और जो एब्रोगेशन, बाइफर्केशन और डाउनग्रेडिंग हुआ है एक स्टेट के यूनियन टेरिटरी का, ये तो बहुत बड़ा धोखा हुआ है जो हमने कश्मीर के अवाम को वादा किया था। मैं पहले भी कहा, आज भी कह रहा हूं कि अब ये तो लेजिटिमाइज हो चुका है कोर्ट से, तो कल बीजेपी को कोई नहीं रोक सकेगा चेन्नई, कोलकाता, हैदराबाद और मुंबई को यूटी बनाने के लिए। और इसका सबसे बड़ा नुकसान जो होगा, आप देख लेना फ्यूचर में, डोगरास को होगा और लद्दाख के बुद्धिस्ट को होगा। वहां पर डेमोग्राफिक चेंज होगा। अभी से आप देख रहे हैं कि जम्मू में जितने राइस मिलें थी वो डोगरा के लोग हाथ से निकल गई, और लद्दाख में आप देखेंगे बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर बुद्धिस्ट लोग नाराज होंगे और वहां पर डेमोग्राफिक चेंज होगा।
सर, 2 सवाल हैं। आपने ये बात कही कि
series of political reactions coming in from that on that big story from the Supreme Court of India today, giving legal sanctity to the decision taken by the Narendra Modi government in 2019 as far as abrogation of Article 370 is concerned.